Hey, welcome to Production Pro. My name is LP, and this is part 3 of my toolkit, and I'm just gonna run through my tape roll. So I've got 2 tape rolls here. I have this little one, I keep it on my set bag, just to have some photo black and some red 1-inch paper tape. We use the red 1-inch mostly for like mag tags for your media, so whenever you put a fresh card in, you know, you put like A01 and you put it on the camera, so that way when you pull it out, you put that tape on it so that you know that you've shot on it and it needs to be downloaded. And then photo black is great for a lot of things. You can use this as an eyebrow to get a flare from the lens. So you just take a strip and put it in front of the matte box and make sure it's not dipping in frame, and then it can kind of act as a eyebrow. And then also it's good for like covering up lights on the camera from like a motor or a transmitter or something like that. So if it's like getting caught in a reflection. Also a good thing is sometimes if you have a clip-on matte box, sometimes the different rings that fit on the different fronts of lenses have a little gap in them, and light can get through and cause like a filter kick. Sometimes you'll see a reflected image in the lens from that hole because light is going through. So what you do is you just kind of take some of this photo black and tape over the little hole. And if you know, in a pinch, if you don't have a donut that for your lens, like a donut does that same thing but around the whole lens. So if you don't have a donut, you can like tape around the entire lens so that there's no filter kick. So on my main tape roll here, let's start out with the 1-inch paper tape. So I've got multiple colors of 1-inch paper. I would say the ones you want to start out with are definitely red, blue, and yellow, I would say at the least. And then you can add some more colors if you want. But we use these for marking the actors on set. So when you're on set and you're using the second AC as marking, sometimes the first AC can jump in and help with marks if the second AC is busy or something like that. So generally, like your #1 actor on the call sheet, going down 1, 2, 3, whatever, you want #1 to be red, #2 to be blue, #3 yellow, and then #4 green, and just kind of go down that way. Then also what you can do is if you're on a longer job is like an indie feature or something, you can ask the talent, say, hey, what color do you want? And they can pick the color, and then make sure you always use the same color for the same talent. So that way for one scene they've got yellow, and then they come back on a different scene and now they're green, and so they're all confused and they're not sure, they're getting their marks confused, and so it just keep it consistent so there's no confusion on whose marks are whose. And then here I've got some 1/2-inch white gaff. I mostly use this for setting up lenses on my hand units, because sometimes you don't have enough rings to mark all the the lengths on your measurements. You don't have enough rings to mark your measurements for each lens. So sometimes what you'll do is if there's a blank ring, take this tape, wrap it around, and then write your measurements on here. And then when you're done with that lens, you can take it off, stick it on the lens case, and then put the new one on and wrap it on. And so that way, if you don't have enough rings, you can do that. And then I have 2-inch white gaff. Mostly use this for cases. So we'll put this on top of like a lens case, a couple strips, and write down, it coordinates with each slot in the case of what lens is in that slot. So, you put, 18, 25, 35, and then you write those focal lengths down, but then beneath the focal length, you'll write the T-stop and the close focus. So that way, if you're on set and the DP is like, hey, what's the stop on the 35? You can quickly just look at the lens case and be like, oh, the 35's a 2. Or, what's the close focus on the 50? And we're like, oh, it's 12 inches. So you're not having to open up the case, pull out the lens to find those measurements or that stop. It just makes it a lot quicker on set. I have this like Florescent 1-inch paper, this pink here. This is good for setting like eye lines. So sometimes they'll want the talent to look very close to the lens, but not right in the lens. So what you'll do is you'll just make a little X or a T, whatever you want to call it. Take it, and then stick that inside the matte box where they want the actor's eye line to be. So that way they know to look at that eye line instead of at the lens or, you know, further away, because they need their eye line close to camera. The fluorescent colors are good for eye line marks. So I've got this 2-inch green gaff. It might be chroma green, but I'm not sure I have this. I think I got it on a job because nobody wanted it at the end of the job, and so I just took it. Because what we do at the end of a job is we have all of our expendables. We tell production, oh, we need a bunch of tape, we need air, Velcro, or whatever. And at the end of the job, camera team will then just split up their expendables. Like, hey, do you need this? Do you want this? And we'll just kind of split it up between each other. And I think I just ended up with this. I have red and blue electrical tape. The electrical tape is pretty much only used for preps. So what we do is, let's say you have, 2 cameras and like an A and a B camera. So what you want to do is you want to mark all the equipment and the cases color coordinated so that A camera is red, B camera is blue, and then if you keep going down the list, C camera is yellow, and then D camera is green, and then you can kind of go from there. Mark all the cases, like put a red strip on every case, that's for A camera, and blue for B camera. And then also on the actual camera body, we'll put it so that way, if you're looking at it from a distance, you can see, oh, that's the A camera or that's the B camera. And you want to keep the gear for each camera kind of separated, because you want to make sure you keep track of everything. And this is a good way to do that. So that way everybody knows where all their stuff is and like whose is whose. Let me show you a quick little trip. It's called tabbing. I'll show you with this one. So as you see here, I've got this little tab on my tape, and it's good because that way when you're on set and you have to set a mark really quick, you're not like picking at the tape trying to be like, oh, hold on a second, I gotta get the tape. You have this little tab, you can grab the tab and then just boom, now you have a mark. And you can stick it on your shirt if you want a couple of them, and then you're ready to go. You just grab a piece of tape and boom, set a mark for the actor. So I'll show you how to do this. So just grab the tape, the amount that you want, and you just kind of fold it down under itself, and then use your thumb to press it down, and then just use the side, like the tape roll itself, to just kind of pull down and rip it. And then you've got a little mark. And once you get down, you can do it real quick. It's just a fast way to get marks and get your tape. And then also a good thing is, if you've set a bunch of marks on the ground, so you're not picking at the tape trying to get it off the ground, you've got the little tab, and then you can just pull the mark right up. So that's a little quick tip for you guys for setting marks and doing it quickly. So I think that kind of does it for my kit. Next video coming up is on my camera cart, so make sure you subscribe and check that out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Going off walkie.